Hi all, welcome to Go Classes. In this lecture, we will study multiplexer and demultiplexer. The first topic that we will study that is compact truth table, or it is called variable entered K-maps. Okay, so we have already seen what is a truth table. Now let's see what is compact truth table, or we can say variable entered truth table, or we can say that variable entered K-map. Okay, so this is what we will study now. So let's see what is a compact truth table. Consider this function over three variables ABC, f ABC equal to a b bar or bc. We know what is the truth table. For this function f, if I want to create a truth table, the standard truth table, if I want to create, then how many rows will be there in the truth table? You can see here the function depends on three variables ABC. So we have three variables A, B, C. We will write all the input combinations of variables ABC, and we will write what is the output. Okay, f ABC, correct? So because we have three variables, so there will be total 2 power 3 rows. Okay, we will start with 0 0 0, then 0 0 1, and so on and so on, 1 1 1. Okay, correct? So you can easily see that here in this truth table there will be total 2 power 3. That simply means that there will be total 8 rows will be there, and for all these 8 rows we will find what is the output of this function, what is the function value. For example, if you put abc equal to 0 0, then what will be the output? Just put all of them 0 0, then f will be equal to 0. If I put ab equal to 0 0 and c equal to 1, then again I will get 0. And if I put all of them 1 1 1, then you can easily see that the output will be 1. Okay, so you can see this is the truth table. This we are already aware of what is a truth table. Now let's see what is compact truth table. Remember, in the compact truth table, what we do, we don't create 8 rows. Okay, because 8 rows will take a lot of time. It is time consuming to write all the 8 rows, yes or no? So what we can do, we can create a compact truth table, or we can say that it is basically reduced truth table. Okay, you can basically call it like reduced, or you can call it compact, or you can call it variable entered truth table. Okay, another name we will call it variable entered truth table. Okay, so here what we do in the compact truth table, what we do, we do not write all the variables on the left side. We just write, let's assume two variables I am writing. Okay, only a comma b I am writing on the left side, and here I am writing the function. Remember, the function depends on three variables ABC. So the function is over three variables, but what we are doing, we are creating a reduced or compact truth table. So on the left we are only writing two variables a comma b. So how many combinations are there using a comma b? Four combinations: 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. So these are the four input combinations using variables a comma b. Now let's find what is the output of this function for these combinations. If I put a equal to 0, b equal to 0 in this function, okay, then you will see that the function value, the function output will be 0. If I put a0 b1, a0 and b1, okay, then you can see this will become 0 and this will become c. So you can see that the output will be c. Very simple. If I put a1 b0, a1 b0, then this will become 1 and this will become 0. So basically I will get 1. Okay, next you can see if I put a1 b1, if I put both of them 1 1, a1 and b1, so this will become 0 and this will become c. So very simple, that this is what we call reduced or compact truth table. I hope you understood. Okay, now you can see in this truth table, in this compact truth table, we are only writing only 4 rows. Okay, and you can see the output of the function. If you look at, then the output can be either the constant like 0, output can be 1, or output can be variables. Okay, or their complements, or any expression. Basically the output can be expression. Very simple point. I hope you understood. This is called compact truth table or reduced truth table, or I can say variable entered truth table. Very simple. I hope you understood. Now remember, we can further reduce it. If you want to write only variable a, let's assume that I only write variable a on the LHS. Okay, and then I write this function f abc. Now this is also compact truth table. Here you can see I am only writing variable a on the LHS. Okay, so variable a can be 0 or 1, so there will be 2 rows. Now let's find what will be the function value. So if I put a equal to 0, then the function value will be bc. And if I put a equal to 1, let me put a equal to 1, then what we will get? We will get b bar or bc. Yes or no? We will get b bar or bc. And remember, b bar or bc In simple words, I can remove this b. There is a property. The property is alpha or alpha bar beta. We can remove this alpha bar and we can write it alpha or beta. So here you can write it b bar or c. So very simple that here I will get b bar or c. I hope you understood. So remember, this is also called reduced, or I can say compact truth table. This is the compact version of the truth table. Compact truth table. I hope you understood the concept of compact truth table. Remember, it is not necessary that you write A. It is your choice. For example, you can write B on the LHS, and then you can create the truth table for F, A, B, C. For the same function, I can create compact truth table. If I write B on the LHS, B can be 0 or B can be 1. If B is 0, then what will be function value? Let's find what will be function value when B is 0. If I put B equal to 0, this will become 0, and here I will get A. And if b is equal to 1, then this will become 0, and here I will get c. Okay, very simple. So this is the idea. I hope you understood. Very simple. So this is called compact truth table. Okay, this is called compact truth table. Also, this is also called compact truth table for the same function. Let's solve this question. Here you have a function, and here the compact truth table is given to you. Then can you convert this compact truth table to the actual standard truth table? Here, let me assume that here you have C bar. Let me just assume this. Now, so here you can see that we have a compact truth table where the variables a comma b, these are written on the left, and you can see this is your output, or I can say this is your function. Remember, the function depends on how many variables here. The function is over how many variables? The function depends on a, function depends on b, also function depends on c. So please understand that the function is over 3 variables. Okay, and you can see this truth table on your screen. This is basically a compact truth table. This is not your original, or I can say standard truth table. This is basically compact truth table. This is not a truth table. This is called compact truth table. Okay, because here you can see that if you look at the output, this column of output f, then here you can see we have constants like 0 comma 1. We also have variables and their complements, any expression we can have on the output. Very simple. Okay, now remember, this compact truth table I can convert into a standard truth table, because you know that this function depends on 3 variables a, b, c. So we have 3 variables a, b, c, and if I create the standard truth table, then there will be total 8 rows. Over 3 variables there will be 2 power 3 rows, means 8 rows will be there. Okay, 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 1. Next you can see 1 0 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 and 1 1 1. So these are the total 8 rows over variables abc. What is the function value? So here you can just see from this compact truth table, you can easily find what is the standard truth table. You can see when a equal to 0, b equal to 0, then function value, function output is basically 0. So remember, when a is 0, b is 0, then basically function value, function output is basically 0. Very simple. Next you can see when a is 0, b 1, then the function output is 1. When a is 0, b 1, then the function output is basically 1. Okay, very simple. Next you can see when a1 b0, then the function output is basically c. Okay, yes or no? When a1 b0, then the function output is same as c. Here you can see c is 0 1. Okay, so function output is same as c. Okay, next you can see that if a equal to 1, b equal to 1, then the function output is c bar. Okay, when a equal to 1, b equal to 1, then you can see function output is c bar. Here c is 0 1, so c bar will be 1 0. That's it. I hope you understood. So this is your function f, standard truth table abc, f abc. So you can convert the compact truth table to standard truth table, and you can convert standard truth table to compact truth table. Both sides you can go. Very simple. Let's consider this compact truth table. Here you can see we have the function f over variables a, b, c, d. Okay, so this is a compact truth table, remember, because here you can see we are writing only 4 rows over variables a comma b, and you can see the output column of function f. Here you have constants 0 comma 1. You can have variables, you can have their complements, you can have any expression, for example c or d. Okay, when a0 b, when a1 b0, then the output is basically c or d. Okay, I hope you understood. So the function depends on 4 variables f, a, b, c, d, and this is basically a compact truth table. This is the compact version of the truth table. Very simple. Or you can call it variable entered truth table. Very simple, because here you can see in the output column we are entering the variables, we are writing the variables, we are writing the expressions basically. So that is the reason this you can call it variable entered truth table, or you can call it compact truth table. Now can we convert this compact truth table to the standard truth table? Yes, very easily, because you can see the function depends on four variables. The function is defined over four variables f, a, b, c, d. So here there will be total 16 rows will be there. 2 power 4 means 16 rows will be there, and this is our function f, a, b, c, d. Okay, I will not write the complete 16 rows. Okay, but some of the rows I can write. For example, you will start with 0 0 0 0. Okay, in the standard truth table. So you can see when a equal to 0, b equal to 0, then output will be basically same as d. Yes or no? The function output will be same as d. When a is 0, b is 0, when a is 0, b is 0, then you can see that function output will be same as d. So d is 0, so the function output also will be 0. Very simple. Okay, remember, for example, if I write 0 0 1 0, okay, this, consider this row. So for this row what will happen? Okay, for this row you can see again a0 b0, again a0 b0. So remember, the output of the function will be same as d. Here you can see d is 0, so I can say output will be 0. Okay, very simple. I hope you understood. Let's see, consider another row. Let's consider, for example, 1 0 1 1. Consider this row. You can see when a is 0, when a is 1, b is 0, okay, then you can see the output is basically c or d. So when a 1, b 0, then remember this output will be same as c or d. 1 over 1, that will be 1. Very simple, right? Okay, let's consider another row. For example, 1 1 0 1. Let's consider this row. You can see when a is 1, b is 1, when both are 1, a, b are 1, then the output of this function, that is same as c. Okay, so you can see the output will be same as c, means output will be 0. Okay, and you can see if I write 1 1 1 1, then what will be the output? You can see when a is 1, b is 1, then the output of the function will be same as c, and here c is 1, so the output will be 1. Okay, like this. I hope you understood. Okay, so this is how you can convert any compact truth table to standard truth table. I hope you understood. Now let's see how to write a boolean expression from compact truth table. Let's assume we have a compact truth table a, b, 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Okay, this is our compact truth table, and let's assume we have a function over variables f, a, b, c, d. Okay, remember our function depends on four variables, and we are only writing two variables on the LHS. So this is a compact truth table. This is not a standard truth table. Okay, now here you can see in the compact truth table the output can be constant, 0 or 1, or any variable or its complement, or any expression. Basically any expression you can have, like alpha, beta, gamma, something like that. Okay, or let me write like this. For example, f0, okay, means when a0 b0, then the output is f0, f1, f2, f3. Okay, so let's assume these are the outputs. Now please understand that all these fi, if you consider all these fi, they can be constants or expressions. They can be constants. Okay, for example, 0 or 1, they can be constants, or they can be expressions. They can be expressions over c comma d. Okay, for example, expressions over c comma d, for example c bar, for example d, for example c bar or d, something like that, etc. I hope you understood the point. Okay, so remember, this is a compact truth table, and the function f depends on four variables a, b, c, d. We are only writing a, b on the LHS. So the output column, if you look at the output column of this compact truth table, then here you will have expressions over c comma d, or I can say constants 0 comma 1. Now how to write the boolean expression from this compact truth table? This is very easy. So let's see this. Here you can see for this min term a bar b bar, a0 b0 means the min term is basically a bar b bar. Okay, so for this min term a bar b bar, the function output is f0. So what I can do, I can write like this, the function expression. This is function. So I can write the function expression like this, that when a bar b bar, when a0 b0, okay, means a bar b bar, a bar b bar, then the function value, then the function output is f0. Very simple. Or you can see when a is 0, b is 1, means a bar b. This is the min term. Yes or no? For this combination, what is the min term? A bar b. When When a is 0, b is 1, then the function value is basically f1. I can say for this min term, the function value is f1. Or for this min term, which min term is this? This is ab bar, yes or no? For this min term ab bar, the function value that is basically f2. Or for this min term, that is ab, okay, because a is 1, b is 1. So for this min term ab, then the function value, function output, that is basically f3. So I can write f3. That's it. This is the expression of f. From the compact truth table, you can easily write the expression of f, very easily, write like this. Okay, you can see for this min term, the function output is f0. So a bar b bar f0. For this min term, the function value is f1. So a bar b f1. For this min term, the function value is f2. So a b bar f2. And for this min term, the function value is f3. So a b f3. Okay, very simple. I hope you understood this point. Okay, let's take one example. Instead of this f0, f1, f2, f3, what I can do, let me assume that for this combination, the output is C bar. For this input combination, the output is 0. For this input combination, the output is 1. And for this input combination, the output is C bar or D. Okay, let's consider this. Now let's write the expression for F. Okay, now you can easily write the expression for F. How to write? I told you from the compact truth table how to write the expression of F. Very simple. For this min term, that is A bar B bar, because A is 0, B is 0. So the min term is A bar B bar. For this min term, the function output is C bar. Very simple. Or for this min term, the function output is 0. Means A bar B, the function output is basically 0. Or A B bar. For this min term, the function output is 1. Or for this min term, that is AB. For this min term AB, then the function output is basically C bar or D. Okay, that's it. So finally what you got, this will become 0 and this will become AB bar. So finally you will get A bar B bar C bar, or A B bar, or A B C bar, or A B D. Okay, if the question asks you to further simplify, you can do that using K-map. Okay, but the point is this is the expression of function f. I hope you understood. Very simple, right? Okay, let's consider this question. For this function, from this compact truth table, let's write the expression for this function. Okay, so we have a function here which depends on 4 variables a, b, c, d. Okay, and you can see this is a compact truth table, right? Because on the LHS we are only writing ab. So there are total 4 rows, and this is the output column. You can see when a is 1, b is 1, then the function output is basically same as c. When a is 1, b is 0, then the function output is basically same as c or d. So the function depends on 4 variables, and this truth table that we have, this is basically a compact truth table. Now let's write what is the expression for function f. Very easily we can write expression for any boolean function from the compact truth table. This is very easy. You know that for this min term a0 b0 means a bar b bar. For this min term, the function output is basically d. Very simple. Next you can see for this min term a bar b, the function output, the function value is basically 1. Okay, next you can see for this min term a b bar, the function output, that is basically c or d. Or you can see for this min term ab, when a is 1 b is 1, for this min term ab, the function output is c, function value is c. So this is how you can write the expression for function f. I hope you understood. Of course, if you want, you can further simplify. Okay, but the point is this is the expression for function f from this compact truth table. Very simple. Let's all get 1988 question based on the concept of variable entered k map, variable entered map. Here you can see 2 k maps are given to you, and these 2 k maps, these are for the same function. You can see the k map of a function f, and this function is defined over 3 variables a comma b comma c. So you can see the k map of a function of 3 variables abc is shown on the left and on the right. Okay, on the left also, on the right also. You can see the reduced form of the same k map. This k map basically we are representing in the reduced form, in the compact form. Okay, so this is the compact form of this k map. Okay, so you can see the reduced form of the same k map is shown on the right hand side, in which the variable c is entered in the k-map. So this type of k-map we call them variable entered k-map. You can see on the right side, if you see, look at this k-map here. In this k-map we are writing the entries. Look at the entries. There we are writing the variable c. Okay, c complement, or we can write the constant 1 comma 0, like that. Okay, so you can see these are basically k-map of the same function. Okay, this is the standard k-map and this is the reduced k-map, but remember they are of the same function. Okay, this is already given to you that the reduced form of the same k-map is shown on the right hand side, where the variable c is entered in the map. Okay, now the question is asking two things. The first is the methodology. What is the procedure by which the reduced k-map can be derived? Means this standard k-map is given to you. Now this is the first question. This is the first question, that how can you derive this reduced k-map, this compact k-map? How can you derive? Okay, this is the first question. The second question is, what are the rules, or I can say what are the steps by which the boolean function can be written, can be derived from the reduced k-map? Okay, this is the second question. In the second question we need to find what is the expression for the boolean function f from this reduced, or I can say compact k-map. Okay, very simple question. So one by one we will solve it. First we will solve the first part, then the second part. Okay, let's focus on the first part, that is, what is the procedure by which the reduced k-map has been derived? Means this standard k-map is given to you over three variables abc. Now from this we need to find, we need to derive this reduced or compact k-map. This is our first question. Let's solve it. So this standard k-map is given to you over the variables a comma b comma c. We need to find this reduced k-map, where we are putting this variable a on the row and variable b on the column. Okay, so we need to convert this standard k-map to a reduced k-map, where variable a we are putting on the row and variable b we are putting on the column. A here, b here. Okay, so you can see 0 1 0 1. Very simple. Now we need to find what are these entries. Remember, we need to find all these entries, we need to find. So let's find them. This is very easy. You can see, let's focus on this entry. How to find this entry? This entry means a equal to 0, b equal to 0. Yes or no? Look at this cell. Here a is also 0, b is also 0. So we need to find the function value. Remember, we need to find what is the function value when a equal to 0, b equal to 0. Okay, that is what we need to find. So look at this standard K map and see where is a0, b0. You can see a is 0 in the first row and b is 0 in these four entries. In these four cells b is 0. Yes or no? You can easily see that b is 0, okay, in these four cells, and a is 0 in these four cells. So where is a0 b0? You can see this is a0 b0. Okay, look at this. These two cells, these are basically where a is 0, b is 0. Okay, very simple. Now you can see that here function is 1 and here function is 0. I told you in the K map, all the missing entries, all the blank entries, they are basically 0. Okay, now let's see, when a is 0, b is 0, what is the function value? Okay, so here you tell me what is the function value. Means when a is 0, b is 0, then what is the function value? You can easily see that here you can see c is 0. Okay, notice in this entry, in this cell, you notice that c is 0. Means when c is 0, then the function value is 1, and when c is 1, then the function value is 0. Okay, did you notice? Okay, look at these two cells. You can see that here c is 0. Okay, this c variable is 0, so the function is 1, and here c variable is 1, the function is 0. So basically the function is c complement. Do you agree? That's it. Okay, so what I can do, the c complement I can write here. I hope you understood. Very simple. Okay, now let's find, this is already c complement. Now let's find what is this entry. Okay, let's find this one. So you, first of all, you notice here that here a is 0. Okay, because a is 0 in the first row, and here you can see b is 1. Okay, a is 0, b is 1. Correct. Now let's see, when a is 0, b is 1, then what the function value? Okay, we need to find what the function value. So let's see here. First of all, you find where is a0 b1. You can see a is 0 in the first row and b is 1. You can see that b is 1 in these four cells. Okay, is this clear? B is 1 here. So ultimately I can say that look at these two cells. In these two cells, A is 0 and B is 1. Do you agree with me? Very simple. Now let's see, when A is 0, B is 1, then what is the function value? You can see the function value is 1. Okay, in both the cells, function value is 1, means when A is 0, B is 1, then the function value is 1. So remember here what you will do, here you will write that function value is 1, because here I can say that function value is 1. Very simple. Okay, now so we got this C bar, this one, these three we got. Okay, now let's find what will be this entry. What should I write here? Here you can notice that A is 1 and B is 0. Okay, so in this original, or I can say standard K map, you find what is the function value when A is 1, B is 0. First of all, where is A1, B0? You can see A1 in the second row, A is equal to 1. Okay, and you can see where is B0? B is 0 in these four cells. Okay, you can see B is 0 in these four cells. So where is A1, B0? You can see here A1, B0. Okay, yes or no? Here you can notice A1, B0. Very simple. Now let's see what is the function value here. You can notice the blank entry, that is basically 0. Yes or no? In the K map, the blank entries are 0. Now you notice here C is 0. When C is 0, the function value is 0. And here you can notice C is 1. When C is 1, the function value is 1. Did you notice? When C is 0, function value is 0. When C is 1, function value 1. So basically the function value is same as C. Okay, is this point clear? So what we will do, we will write C here. Very simple. I hope you understood. So remember, we got this C here. Now the last entry that we need to find, this entry we need to find. Okay, so let's see. Here you can notice that A is 1 and B is 1. Okay, in this cell I can say that this is basically A1 B1 cell. Okay, so let's see, in the standard K map, when A is 1, B is 1, then what is the function output? I need to find what is the function output when A is 1, B is 1. So first of all, you find where is A1, B1. You can see A1 in the second row and B1 in these four cells. Yes or no? In these four cells, B is equal to 1. Okay, so finally, where is A1, B1? You can see here A1, B1. Okay, here you can see A is also 1, B is also 1. Very simple. Now remember, the blank entry is 0. Okay, now let's see what is the function value. You can notice here C is 1, so the function value is 1. Here C is 0, so the function value is 0. Okay, so means whatever is C, that is your function value. Yes or no? So remember, here the function value is basically C. So we will write C here. That's it. So finally we got C here. This is how you can convert any standard K map to a variable entered K map, or I can say reduced, or I can say compact K map. Did you understand? This was your first question. Okay, here you can see the first question was the methodology, the procedure by which the reduced K map can be derived from this standard K map. How can we derive the reduced K map? I hope you understood this. Okay, so this will be your reduced K map. Finally, this is the reduced K map. This procedure, did you understand? Variable entered K map, VEM. Very simple. Okay, now let's solve the second part of this question. The second part is that once you have this reduced K map, compact K map, then derive the Boolean function, write the Boolean function from this compact K map. And that is also very easy. Here what we are going to do, you can easily see that when A is 0, B is 0, then the function output is basically C bar. Okay, when A is 0, B1, function output is 1. When A1, B0, function output is C. When A1, B1, then the function value is C. So we can easily write the expression for this function f. This is the function f. For this function f, I can easily write the expression, very easily write like this. You can see when A is 0, B is 0, means for this minterm A bar, B bar, what is the function value? The function value is C bar. Okay, that's it. Or next you can see for the minterm A bar B, means A0, B1. For this minterm A bar B, means A0, B1. When A0, B is 1, okay, then the function output is 1. Or for the minterm AB bar, means A1, B0. Okay, here A1, B0. For this minterm AB bar, the function output is C. Or for the minterm AB, means A1, B1. Here you can see A1, B1. For this minterm AB, the function value, that is C. Okay, so this will be your Boolean function expression. I hope you understood. Of course, if you want, you can simplify this further. Okay, so what we will get? We will get a bar, b bar, c bar, and from here we will get a bar b. Okay, here a b bar c, and here abc. Of course, if you want, you can simplify this using the k-map, but the point is the question is not asking the reduced form of the expression of the Boolean expression. Okay, the question is simply asking that from this reduced k-map, from this compact k-map, can you write the expression? Okay, so that we have done. Okay, of course, if you want, you can use the k-map and you can find the minimized SOP expression for this function f, but this is not what the question is asking, and both the parts of this question we have done. I hope you understood. So I hope you understood that from the standard k-map how can we find the compact k-map, and from the compact k-map how can we find the expression for the function. Both the parts we have done. Okay, I hope you understood. Let's all get 1992 question. The Boolean function in sum of product form, SOP form, from this K map. Okay, for a Boolean function, this K map is given to us. We need to find the SOP expression for this function. Here you can notice that in this K map, this is a variable entered K map, or I can say this is a compact K map, reduced K map. Okay, because you can see in this K map, we are writing the variables, constants 0, 1, variables a bar, basically. So this is a variable entered K map. Okay, yes or no? We have already seen what is a variable entered K map. So this is basically a variable entered K map. Okay, in short, this is called VEM, or I can say this is basically a compact K map. Compact K map, reduced K map. Very simple. Now we need to find this Boolean function that is given by this K map. For that Boolean function, we need to find what the SOP form, and that is very easy. From the compact K map, how to write the expression, that is very easy. Remember, here you can see this variable b we are having on the row, and variable c we are having on the column. And you can easily notice, first of all, let me explain that what this one means. See what this one actually means. This one simply means that when b comma c, when both are 0 0, then basically the function value, okay, the function value is basically 1. Okay, what it actually means, let me again tell you. This basically means, remember, the function is defined over three variables abc. Total we have three variables abc. Okay, the function is also defined over three variables abc. Okay, and you can see when a b is 0 c is 0, when b is 0 c is 0, a can be 0 or a can be 1. Now you can notice in both the situations the function value will be 1. I hope you understood, because we are saying that when b is 0 c is 0, then the function output will be 1. So when b is 0 c is 0, a can be anything, the function output will be 1. Okay, let me explain this also. Here you can notice that here b is 1, c is 0. Okay, you can see that b is 1, c is 0. Then what is the function value? When b is 1, c is 0, then the function output is same as a bar. Okay, what this actually means, let me tell you. This basically means that your three variables abc, the function is defined over three variables abc, f, abc. Now remember, when b is 1, c is 0, then a can be either 0 or a can be 1. We already know. Now remember, when b is 1, c is 0, then the function output will be same as a bar. Okay, so if a is 0, function output will be 1. If a is 1, function output will be 0. So you can notice that when b, c are 1 0, then you can see the function output is a complement. Okay, so this is how you can understand this variable entered K map. I hope you understood the K map. Okay, this is just for understanding. Now from the this compact K map, you can directly write the SOP expression for function f. Okay, how to write the function f? Function f depends on three variables abc. So let's write the expression for function f from this compact K map. This is very easy. Okay, what we will do? Notice when b comma c are 0 0, then the function output is 1. Okay, when b is 0 means b bar, c is 0 means c bar, then the function output is 1. This is how you can write. Okay, very simple. Okay, how to write this cell? This cell we will represent like this, that b is 0, c is 0 means b bar, c bar, b is 0, c is 0, then the function output is 1. So this will be basically b bar, c bar, 1. Okay, very simple. Or next, look at this. Here you can notice when b is 0, c is 1. Okay, when b is 0, c is 1 means b bar c. b 0 means b bar, c1 means c. When b is 0, c is 1, then the function output is 0. Then the function value is a 0. Okay, or look at this. here you can notice that b is 1 and c is 0. When b is 1, c is 0, then the function output is what? You can see when b is 1 means b and c is 0 means c bar. So when b is 1, c is 0, then the function output is a bar. Okay, so what I will write? When b is 1, c is 0, then the function value is a bar. That's it. Very simple. Or look at this. Here you can see that b is 1, c is 1 means bc. b1 means b, c1 means c. So when b is 1, c is 1, then the function output is a. Okay, b, c, a. That's it. So finally your answer will be what? That will be b bar, c bar, or this will become 0, a bar, b, c bar, or a, b, c. Okay, so this will be your answer. The question is asking the SOP expression. This will be the SOP expression. This is SOP expression, sum of product expression. Okay, for the function f. I hope you understood. This is the answer. Okay, but remember, if the question asks you what is minimized SOP, that also we can find. In this question, actually, we are just asking the SOP form. So we got our answer. This is the SOP form. But if you want, you can find the minimum SOP form also. So that is also very easy. First, you write this function. The function is basically b bar, c bar, or a bar, b, c bar, or abc. Okay, so this is our function f. Now you can easily write the minimum SOP. Okay, so let's write the minimum SOP of f that we can easily find using the K-map. So now I can create the K-map for this function, the standard K-map I can create. In the standard K-map, you can see I will write variable AB on the column and variable C on the row. Okay, so you can see 0, 1. Like this, the standard K-map you can create 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. This is the standard K-map. Okay, let's fill this K-map where the function value is 1. Look at this b bar, c bar. Which area is b bar, c bar? First of all, let me write the area. You can see this is the area of A because here A is equal to 1. So this is the area of A. You can see this is the area of B because here B is equal to 1, variable B equal to 1. And you can see this is the area of C because here C is equal to 1. Okay, variable C equal to 1 in this area. So this is C area and this is C bar area. Okay, this is C bar area. And you can see this is A bar area. And you can see this is B bar area. Okay, so first you write down, first you label the areas in the K-map. Now you can see, look at this SOP expression. Remember, this is SOP expression. And from the SOP expression, you can easily fill the K-map. Okay, just look at every term. Just look at every product term. This product term, B bar, C bar. Okay, look at this product term, B bar, C bar. Which area is B bar, C bar? You can see this is the B bar area and this is the C bar area. So which area is B bar, C bar area? You can see this area is B bar, C bar. Yes or no? This cell, this cell. These are in the B bar, C bar area. So you can see B bar, C bar means here function value is 1, here function value is 1. Okay, because this is the area B bar, C bar. Okay, so here function value is 1, 1. Very simple. Look at this product term A bar, B, C bar. Which area is A bar, B, C bar? In this K map, where we have A bar, B, C bar. You can see this is the area of B. This is the area of A bar. So this is the area of A bar, B. And you can see this is the area of C bar. So I can say this is the area of A bar, B, C bar. Okay, yes or no? Remember this is A bar, B, C bar. Look at this product term ABC. Which area is ABC? You can see this is the area of A, this is the area of B. So this is the area of AB and this is the area of C. So I can say this is the area of ABC. So this will be ABC. That's it. This is your K map. Okay, now from this K map you can easily write the minimum SOP. Okay, so let's create the prime implicant, essential prime implicant. So you can see this group will be created, only one cube will be, only one cell will be there in this group. Yes or no? Because you can see for this cell, this is a useless neighbor, useless neighbor, useless neighbor. Okay, so here you can easily see that this group will be created of only one cell. Next you can see, look at this cell. So for this cell, this group will be created, and for this cell, this group will be created. Okay, now you can easily write the minimum SOP. So what is this? This is basically ABC. And what is this one? Here you can see this is in the area of B bar, C bar. Okay, so this is basically B bar, C bar. And what about this? This is in the area of A bar, C bar. Okay, so finally your answer will be what? The minimum SOP will be A bar, C bar, or B bar, C bar, or ABC. Okay, this will be the answer. This will be the final answer if the question asks you what is the minimized SOP. Okay, that's it. So for this GATE 1992 question, we have done the complete analysis. I hope you understood. Let's study the next topic, that is multiplexer. It is also called MUX. It is also called data selector. So what is a multiplexer? Multiplexer is basically a digital circuit where you have 2 power n input lines. Okay, the number of input lines, remember there are input lines, and these are 2 power n. Total 2 power n input lines we have, for example, I0, I1, I2, I3, and so on. If we have 2 power n input lines, then this will be 2 power n minus 1. Okay, so you can see total we have 2 power n input lines, and there is only one output line. Okay, the output line is only one, so let me call it Y or F. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, so let's call it F. So you can see that there are 2 power n input lines and there is only one output line. That is the reason this multiplexer is also called 2 power n by 1 mux. Okay, it simply means that there are 2 power n input lines and there is one output line. Now remember, one of these input lines will appear in the output, means the output will be equal to one of these input lines. But which input line will appear in the output? Okay, there are 2 power n input lines. Which of them will appear in the output? That will be decided by n select lines. Okay, so remember there are total n select lines. Okay, we have S0, S1, and so on. S0, S1, and so on, Sn minus 1. So you can see that there are total n select lines, and they will decide, these select lines, they will decide which input will appear on the output. Means output will be equal to one of the input lines, and that decision will be made by these select lines. Okay, so let me tell you, these n select lines, these are called control inputs, or you can call them select inputs, or you can call them select lines or control lines. So let me mention that these are basically select lines. Okay, or you can call them control inputs. These are the control inputs because they will control these select lines, these control inputs, they will control which input will appear in the output. Okay, and you can see these inputs, these 2 power n inputs, these are called data inputs. Okay, these are called data input, or I can say input lines. Okay, you can call them input lines, and there is only one output line. This is called output, or I can say output line, and there is only one output. Okay, very simple. So this is a multiplexer. Remember, multiplexer is a digital device, or I can say digital circuit, in which there are 2 power n input lines, there is only one output line, and one of these input lines will appear in the output. Means output will be equal to one of these input lines, and this output will be equal to which input line, that will be decided by the select lines. Okay, so there are n select lines, or I can say n control inputs. They will decide which input will appear in the output. This is multiplexer. This type of digital device, this type of digital circuit is called multiplexer. Okay, so very simple. I hope you understood. Also, let me tell you, this multiplexer is called data selector. Why? Because we are selecting one of the input data and we are putting this in the output. Okay, so let me tell you, this multiplexer, the another name is basically data selector. Let's understand 2 by 1 mux. On your screen, you can see this is 2 by 1 mux because there are two input lines and there is one output line. So this is called 2 by 1 mux. 2 by 1 mux. Okay. Now, here you can see that there is only one select line, because when you have 2 power n input lines, then there are n select lines. Here you can see we have 2 power 1 input lines. 2 power 1 means 2. So these many input lines we have. When we have 2 power n input lines, then we have n select lines. Here you can see there is only one select line. So this S is basically your selector line. Or I can say this is your control input, basically control line. Control input, or I can say control line. Very simple. And this is your output. Okay, this Y, this is the output. Now, let me tell you that one of these inputs will appear in the output. Means output will be equal to one of these inputs, and which input will appear in the output, that will be decided by these control inputs, or I can say select lines. Okay, let me tell you what this one means. Inside this block diagram, this is multiplexer. Inside this block diagram, what this one means? This one simply means S equal to 1. Okay, this simply means what this means. This means what will happen, which input will be selected when S equal to 1. So when S is equal to 1, then remember this I1 will appear in the output. Means output will be equal to I1. And remember this 0 inside this block diagram, look at this 0. What this 0 means? This 0 means s equal to 0. Means when this select line equal to 0, when this s equal to 0, then this I0 will appear in the output. Y will be equal to I0. Okay, so let me write the truth table. The compact truth table I can write like this. So let me write the truth table. You can see this is our output y. Remember, output depends on which inputs. What are the inputs of this output? This output depends on select line also. It also depends on the data input. Remember, this output depends on s. It also depends on I1, I0. Please understand that these are also inputs. The select lines, these are also inputs, and data inputs, these are also inputs. So the output, remember, that depends on data inputs as well as control inputs. I hope you understood. So remember, output is basically a function of select lines and data inputs. Okay, now you can see when s is equal to 0, then the output will be equal to I0. And when s is equal to 1, then the output will be equal to I1. This is the behavior of this multiplexer. Very simple. When this select line equal to 0, this 0 means this input I0 will appear in the output. And you can see when select line equal to 1, then this s equal to 1 means that this input I1 will appear in the output. Okay, so you can see this is the compact truth table. We got a compact truth table. Okay, now from this compact truth table, can we write the expression for this output y? Let's write expression for output y. So this y will be equal to what? You can see when s equal to 0, output equal to I0. S0 means s bar. Okay, S0 means s bar. So you can see s bar I0. Or when s equal to 1, then the output is I1. S1 means s. When s is equal to 1, then the output is I1. So that's it, s I1. So remember, this is how you can write the equation or expression for this output in terms of inputs. The inputs are I0, I1, and s. So in terms of inputs, you can easily express this output like this. From this compact truth table, you can write this expression. Okay, very simple. I hope you understood. So we have already seen 2 by 1 multiplexer. In this 2 by 1 multiplexer, this select line, if this s is equal to 0, remember this 0 indicates s equal to 0. Okay, so in this block diagram, when this 0 is written, this indicates s equal to 0, and this 1 indicates s equal to 1. So you can see when s is equal to 0, then output will be same as x1, and when s is equal to 1, then this output will be same as x2. Okay, so you can see here in this diagram that when s equal to 0, when the select line equal to 0, then this x1 will appear in the output. The output will be same as x1. And when this s is equal to 1, select line equal to 1, then you can see this x2 will appear in the output. This output will be same as x2. Okay, and you can easily write the truth table, and you can easily write the expression for function f. You already know that this function f, this depends on select lines, also on the data inputs. The data inputs are x1, x2. Okay, and you can see the compact truth table I can easily write when this s is 0, when this s is 1, when select line equal to 0. Okay, remember this indicates, this simply means that s equal to 0, and inside this block diagram, this 1 means s equal to 1. So you can see when s is equal to 0, then f equal to x1, and when s is equal to 1, then f is equal to x2. Okay, from here you can easily write what will be the expression for f. From this compact truth table, I can easily write the expression for function f. When s equal to 0, output is x1, means s bar x1. Or when s is 1, output is x2, so means s x2. This will be the expression. Very simple. I hope you understood. Let's see 4 by 1 multiplexer. I told you that in the multiplexer, the inputs are 2 power n input lines are there, and one output line is there. So you can see in the 4 by 1 multiplexer, there are 2 power 2 input lines, and there is one output line, and the number of select line will be 2. So you can see there are 2 select lines. Okay, very simple. So this is a 4 by 1 multiplexer, or I can say this is basically 2 power 2 by 1 mux. Okay, and remember this 2, this will be the number of select lines. Means in the 4 by 1 mux, we need 2 select lines we need, and there are 4 data lines, or I can say input lines. Okay, these are the data inputs. And remember, in every multiplexer, there is only one output line. Okay, very simple. Now here you can see when this S1, S0, also let me tell you that in this S1 S0, by default this S1 will be MSB and this S0 will be LSB. Okay, this is by default. If nothing is given, then remember this S1 will be the MSB select line. Okay, by default this will be MSB, and by default this S0 will be LSB. Okay, is this clear? Also remember, inside this block diagram this 0 is written. What this 0 actually indicates, let me tell you. This 0 actually means, this means S0 S1 equal to 0 0. Very simple. And what this 1 means, this one means S1 S0 equal to 0 1. Okay, remember S1 is MSB by default and S0 is LSB by default. So inside this block diagram, when this 2 is written, what this actually means? This simply means that S1 S0 they are 1 0. Okay, and what about this 3? What this 3 means? This 3 means that S1 S0 they are basically 1 1. Okay, is this clear? Now you can see when these select lines are 0 0, then this input C0 will appear in the output. When this in when this when these select lines are 0 1, then this input will appear in the output. And when these select lines are 1 0, then this input C2 will appear in the output. And when these select lines are 1 1, then this input C3 will appear in the output. Okay, so I can create the truth table very easily. You can see these are the select lines S1 S0, and this is our output. Remember, the output depends on what? Tell me. The output depends on these data inputs as well as these select inputs. Okay, so remember, the output actually depends on C0, C1, C2, C3, also on S1, S0. Okay, the output is basically a function of these 6 inputs. Okay, these are the data inputs and these are the select inputs, but the output is basically a function of these 6 inputs. Okay, now you can see when these select lines are 0 0, when these are 0 1, when these are 1 1 1 0 and 1 1. For the different combinations of select lines, what will be the output? Let's find it. Very simple. When the select lines are 0 0, this is indicated by this 0. This 0 0, this 0 simply indicates 0 0. Okay, S1 0 and S0 0. So here you can see the output will be same as C0. Z will be equal to C0. When these select lines are 0 1, then this output will be same as C1. When these select lines are 1 0, when I put 1 on S1 and 0 on S0, then the output Z will be equal to C2. And when both the select lines are 1 1, then this input will appear in the output, means Z equal to C3. Okay, so this will be the compact truth table. Now from this compact truth table, you can easily write the expression for the output. What will be the expression for the output? For the output Z, what will be the expression? Very simple. When S1 S0 are 0 0 means S1 bar S0 bar, then the output is C0. Or when S1 S0 are 0 1 means S1 bar S0. S1 is 0 means S1 bar. S0 is 1 means S0. Then output Z equal to C1. Or you can see when S1 is 1, S0 is 0. That means S1 S0 bar, then the output is C2. Or when both are 1 1, S1 is 1, S0 is 1, then the output is C3. This is how you can write the expression for the output. Very easy. Okay, I hope you understood. So we have seen 4 by 1 multiplexer. In the 4 by 1 multiplexer, there are 4 input lines, 1 output line, and there are 2 select lines. These select lines will determine which input line will appear in the output. You can see by default S1 is MSB and S0 is LSB. Okay, so you can see this is the truth table. Now here you can easily see that when S1 S0, when they are basically 0 0, then this input W0 will appear in the output. Okay, you can see this, that when S1 S0 both are 0 0, then output is equal to W0. Now you can look at these diagrams, that when S1 S0, when they are 0 0, you can see output equal to W0. When S0 S1 they are 0 1, you can see S1 is 0, S0 is 1. You can see when they are 0 1, then output is same as W1. You can see when S1 S0 are 1 0, then the output is same as W2. And when both the select lines are 1 1, then this input W3 will appear on the output, F equal to W3. Very simple. Let's consider 8 by 1 multiplexer. In the 8 by 1 multiplexer, this is basically 2 power 3 by 1. Yes or no? 8 by 1 multiplexer, I can also call it 2 power 3 by 1 mux. So how many select lines will be there? This 3 indicates the number of select lines. or I can say the number of control inputs. So there are total three control inputs or three select lines. You can see ABC. These are the select lines, and we have total 8 input lines, and there is only one output line. Okay. Now you can easily create the truth table, and you can write the expression for the output very easily. You can see ABC. These are the select lines. Okay, and the output is Z. Remember, Z will depend on these inputs as well as these inputs. So basically, this output Z, this is a function of these 8 data inputs and these 3 control inputs. Okay, so this output is basically a function of total 11 inputs. I hope you understood. Now we can create the compact truth table. So these are the select lines ABC. By default, this A is the MSB by default. Remember, this A is MSB and this C is LSB. So here you can easily see, when all the select lines are 0 0 0, then what will be the output? When all the select lines are 0 0 0, then this input will appear in the output, means output equal to I0. When the select lines are 0 0 1, then output will be I1. 0 1 0, output will be I2. Okay, 0 1 1, output will be I3. 1 0 0, output will be I4. 1 0 1, output will be I5. 1 1 0 and 1 1 1, output will be I6 and I7. Okay, so this is the behavior of the 8 by 1 multiplexer. Very simple. If you want to write the expression, that also you can write. So let's write the expression. You can see, when ABC are 0 0, then the output is I0. So I can write the expression for Z. The Z will be equal to, you can see, when ABC are 0 0 0 means A bar, B bar, C bar. A0 means A bar, B0 means B bar, C0 means C bar. So A bar, B bar, C bar, then the output is I0. Or when A0, B0, C1 means A bar, B bar, C, then you can see output is same as I1. Or when A0 means A bar, B1 and C0, then you can easily see output is I2. And you can see when A0, B is 1, C is 1, then output is I3. Or next you can see, when A is 1, B is 0, C is 0, then output is I4. When A is 1, B is 0, C is 1, then output is I5. When A is 1, B is 1, C is 0, then output is I6. And when A, B, C all are 1, 1, 1, then you can see output is I7. This will be the expression for output Z. Okay, very simple. I hope you understood. So we have seen the definition of multiplexer. Multiplexer is a circuit, is a digital circuit which has two power and input lines and select lines and one output line. Okay. Now let's move on. Now let's study implementation of multiplexer using basic logic gates. We have this multiplexer. This is a 2 by 1 multiplexer. Can we implement this multiplexer using basic logic gates? First of all, remember, this is just a block diagram of the multiplexer. From this block diagram, we can understand the behavior of the multiplexer. What is the behavior of the multiplexer? This select line will determine which input will appear in the output. So you can see, if this select line equal to 0, then this output will be equal to I0, because this 0 inside this block diagram, this 0 means S equal to 0 and this 1 means S equal to 1. So we can see that when the select line equal to 1, then output Y will be equal to I1. Okay, so from the block diagram you can easily find what is the truth table, and you can easily write the expression for output. So the expression for output Y, that will be equal to, you can see, when S is 0, output is I0. So S0 means S bar, then the output is I0. When S is 1, then output is I1. So this is the expression for the output. Now can we implement this equation, can we implement this expression using basic logic gates? This is what I'm asking. Implementation of multiplexer using basic logic gates, that is very simple. First you write the expression. The expression Y is equal to S bar I0. When S is 0, output is I0. When S is 1, output is I1. Now from here you can easily implement this multiplexer using basic logic gates. What we need? We need two AND gates. Yes or no? So first of all, I need AND gate. Another AND gate. I need two AND gates. We need. Okay. These are the two AND gates. And remember, at the end, I need one OR gate, because we are having OR of these two expressions. So at the end, I need OR gate also. So this will be Y. Now you can see that I0, here the input are I0 comma S, S bar. S bar means, if this is S, then I put an inverter here. Okay, yes or no? Inverter. This will be S bar I0. So here the output will be S bar I0. And you can see, For this AND gate, the inputs will be I1 and S. Okay, so that's it. So here the output will be S I1, here S bar I0, and finally this is the implementation of the multiplexer using basic logic gates. I hope you understood. Okay, very simple. So remember, this is the implementation of multiplexer using basic logic gates inside this block diagram. Okay, look at this block diagram. Inside this block diagram, basically we have this structure. This is what we have inside this block diagram. Okay, on your screen, this block diagram that you can see inside this block diagram. Okay, inside this block diagram, basically we have this. I hope you understood. So this is the implementation of multiplexer using basic logic gates. Very simple. Let's study the next topic, that is realization or implementation of a boolean function using multiplexer. Using multiplexer, can we implement or can we realize a boolean function? The output of the multiplexer is same as the function being realized or function being implemented. Means if you want to implement any function, then remember that function will be equal to the output of the multiplexer. Okay, or I can say that output of the multiplexer will be basically the function that is implemented by this multiplexer. Very simple. So this output, remember, because for any multiplexer there is only one output, and remember this output of the multiplexer, this is the implemented function, I can say. Okay, this indicates the implemented function, the realized function. And if you want to implement, if you want to realize any function using multiplexer, then remember the output of the multiplexer that should be same as that function that you want to realize. Very simple. Let's solve this gate instrumentation 2025 question. We have this multiplexer circuit is given to us. There are two multiplexers. There is a 4 by 1 multiplexer here. There is a 2 by 1 multiplexer here. And the question is asking what the expression for this output Y. Okay. So let's solve it. First, let's find what is the output of this 4 by 1 multiplexer, because the output of this 4 by 1 multiplexer is going as an input to this 2 by 1 multiplexer. So first what we will do, we will find what is this output. Let's call it Z. What is this output Z? Okay. So first let's find the output Z here. In this multiplexer, you might be thinking S0, S1, which of them is MSB, which of them is LSB? Some student might be thinking, sir, by default S1 is MSB and S0 is LSB, but here we have written them in the different order. We are writing S0 before S1, yes or no? So which of them is MSB, which of them is LSB? This might be your doubt. You might be thinking like this. But let me tell you that in this block diagram, you don't have to worry about what is MSB, what is the MSB of select line, and what is LSB select line. You don't have to worry. What is the reason? The reason is very simple, because look at this block diagram. Inside this block diagram, everything is already written. For example, 0 0, you can see S0 S1, we are writing them S0 S1, we are writing like this. Now you can notice that here we have written 0 0, means here S0 is 0, S1 is 0. Look at this, here 0 1 means S0 is 0 and S1 is 1. Here you can see 1 0 means S0 is 1, S1 is 0. Okay, next you can see both are 1 1. I hope you understood. So remember, this is a very beautiful question. In this block diagram of the multiplexer, everything is already given to you, so that you don't have to worry about which select line is MSB, which select line is LSB. Any by default, any default convention you don't have to use. Okay, because everything is already given in this block diagram. This is a beautiful, I can say, this is a well framed question. Okay, the question maker has already given you the complete information, because you can see we are writing S0 S1 and here 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Okay, so for example, if you want to see what is this 0 1, this basically means first we are writing S0, then we are writing S1, and here this 0 1. Okay, it simply means S0 is 0, S1 is 1. Okay, so very simple. Now you can easily see that when S0 is 0, S1 is 1, then remember the output will be same as 1. Okay, the output will be same as 1. So very simple. I hope you understood. Now let's find what is this Z. So I can create the truth table very easily. S0 S1, S0 is same as P. Remember this variable P we have connected to S0, so S0 is same as P, and S1 is same as Q. Okay, so what will be this Z? You can see when both are 0 0, when 0 1 1 0 1 1, then what is the output? So when S0 S1, when they are 0 0, then you can see this output will be equal to 0. When S0 S1 are 0 1, then output will be equal to 1. When S0 S1 are 1 0, then this input will appear in the output, so output will be equal to 1. And when both are 1 1, then this input will appear in the output and output will be equal to 0. Okay, so this is your Z. Now can we write the expression for Z? Yes, remember PQ here. This column is P and this column is Q. So we have variables P comma Q. So we can express this Z in terms of PQ. This is XOR, yes or no? This is our exclusive OR function. So I can say Z is equal to P exclusive OR Q. That's it. So we got what is Z. Now once we found what is Z, Z means P exclusive OR Q. This is Z. Now let's focus on this 2 by 1 multiplexer. In this 2 by 1 multiplexer, the output is Y. So this output Y and the select line is equal to R. Okay, you can see this R is the select line. So when R is equal to 0, this 0 indicates R equal to 0. Okay, this 0 indicates what will happen if R equal to 0 means what will happen if select line equal to 0. So when the select line is equal to 0, then this input will appear in the output. So you can see output will be equal to P XOR Q. And when R equal to 1, when select line equal to 1, then you can see this input 1 will appear in the output, means Y equal to 1. Okay, can we write the expression for Y? Y will be equal to, when R is 0 means R bar. When R is 0, then the output is P XOR Q. Okay, or when R is 1, then the output is 1, means when R is 1 means R, then the output is 1. Okay, so you can write like this. What we got? We got R or R bar P XOR Q. Now remember, there is a property that we know, alpha or alpha bar beta. What we can do here? We can remove this alpha bar, right? So you can see this is same as alpha or beta. The same thing you can do here. We have R or R bar beta. This is beta. So here you can see we can remove this R bar and finally we will get R or P XOR Q. This will be the final answer. Okay, so for this gate instrumentation question, you can see the final answer will be R or P XOR Q. This will be the final answer. Option A will be the answer. Very simple. I hope you understood. Let's solve this Morris-Monod book exercise. Two functions are given to us, f1, f2, and we need to implement these functions with help of 4 by 1 multiplexer. Read the question. Implement the following Boolean functions with a 4 by 1 multiplexer and external gates. You can use external gates like inverter, or gate, and gate. Okay, so you can use external gates and you need to use one 4 by 1 multiplexer to implement these two functions, f1 f2. The question is saying that connect inputs a comma b to the selection lines. Okay, remember we have total 4 inputs in these two functions. Total 4 inputs are there, 4 input variables are there. And in the 4 by 1 multiplexer, how many select lines will be there? There will be 2 select lines. Yes or no? In the 4 by 1 multiplexer, there will be 2 select line. So to this select lines, so with these select lines, what variables should I connect? So you can see here, connect input a comma b to the select lines. This is given to you. Okay, then what we need to do? Then the question is saying that the input requirements for the 4 data lines, because in the 4 by 1 mux, there will be how many input lines? There will be 4 input data lines. Yes or no? There will be 4 data inputs. So what should we connect with these 4 data inputs? That we need to find. Okay, so that we need to solve. Okay, so let's solve it. Let me solve the first part, that is f1. Let me implement this function f1 with help of 4 by 1 multiplexer. This is very easy. First you write the expression for f1. Whenever some function is given to you and the question is asking you to implement this with help of multiplexer, then what you do? First you find the SOP expression for f1. Here you can see this is the minterm list given to you. These are the minterms and the expression of f1 is given to you as sum of minterms. Okay, so what I can do? I can easily write this f1 like this. What is 1? 1 simply means a bar, b bar, c bar, d. Yes or no? This is 1. What is 3? 3 means a bar, b bar, c, d. This is 3. What is 4? Minterm 4. Minterm 4 means a bar, b, c bar, d bar. Yes or no? What is minterm 11? 11 means 1 1 What is min term 11? 11 means 1011. Yes or no? 1011. What is 12? That is 1100. 1100. What is 13? That is 1101. 1101. What is 14? That is 1110. 1110. What is 15? That is 1111. Okay, yes or no? So this is the SOP expression of function f1. Now you can easily implement this function f1 with help of multiplexer. So let's see how to do that. We have a 4 by 1 multiplexer. Let me use 4 by 1 multiplexer. So let's use 4 by 1 multiplexer to implement this function f. And the question is already saying that we connect these select lines s1, s0, these select lines we connect with variables ab. Okay. And you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, these will be the 4 data inputs. The data inputs, what are these? These are basically I0, I1, I2, I3. We need to find what are these I0, I1, I2, I3. And remember the output of this multiplexer, that is your function f1 that is implemented. I told you that for any multiplexer, the output of the multiplexer is same as the function that is being implemented. Okay, yes or no? Now we need to implement this function with help of this 4 by 1 multiplexer. So what we need to find? We just need to find what will be I0, I1, I2, I3. Yes or no? This is what we need to find. Now notice one thing. When A is 0, B is 0, when the select lines are 0, 0, then this function value f1 will be equal to I0. Yes or no? We already know that when A, B, these are the select lines. Okay, we already know that this A we are connecting to S1 and this B we are connecting to S0. Okay, so when both are 0, 0, then what is the function value? What is this f1? So when both are 0, 0, then f1 is same as I0. Okay, when they are 0, 1, I1, when 1, 0, I2, and when 1, 1, then I3. Yes or no? So remember, if I want to find what is I0, I1, I2, I3, then what I can do? I can just put, to find this I0, I can put A0, B0. In this equation, if I put A0, B0, then I will get I0. And in this equation, if I put A0, B1, then I will get I1. In this equation, if I put A1, B0, then I will get I2. And in this equation, if I put A1, B1, then I will get I3. Very simple. Yes or no? Do you agree? So let's find what will be I0. To find I0, what I need to do? Tell me. Let's find I0. To find I0, what I will do? In this function f1, I will put A0, I will put B0. Okay, yes or no? A0, B0, that's it. So let's put A0, B0, then I will get I0. That will be same as I0. Okay, so let's see. If I put A0, B0, then you can see this will be 0, this will be 0, this will be 0, this will be 0. Yes or no? This will be 0. A0, B0, this will be 0. So if I put A0, B0, then you can see I will get C bar D or CD. Do you agree? I will get C bar D or CD. I can simplify this. I can take D out and inside I will get C or C bar, that will be 1. So basically I0 will be equal to D. That's it. Okay, is this clear? We got I0 equal to D. Okay, I can say that this I0 that is same as D. I can write D here. That's it. Now let's find I1. Let's find I1. If I want to find I1, then what that will be? I will put in this function, I will put A equal to 0, B equal to 1. Okay, C comma D. That's it. So remember, that will be same as I1. When I put A equal to 0, B equal to 1 in this function, then what I will get? I will get I1. So what will be I1? Just put A0, B1. If I put A0, these will become 0. Okay, all of them will become 0. And this also will become 0 if I put A equal to 0. If I put B equal to 1, then this will become 0, this will become 0. Okay, so finally only this will remain. When I put A0, B1, then what will be the output? The output will be C bar D bar. Okay, yes or no? So remember, I1 is equal to C bar D bar. Okay, so finally we got I0, I1. I0 was D and I1 is C bar D bar. C bar D bar. Okay, now what we find? We find what is I2. Okay, let's find what is I2. Remember, to find I2, what I will do? In this function, I will put A equal to 1, B equal to 0. If I put A equal to 1, B equal to 0, then what I will get? I will get I2. That will be same as I2. Okay, so let's put A equal to 1, B equal to 0. If I put b equal to 0, then all of them will become 0. Okay, these will become 0 if I put b equal to 0. If I put b equal to 0, this also will become 0. And if I put a equal to 1, then this will become 0, this will become 0. So finally only this will remain. Okay, so let's put a1 b0. Then what I will get? I will get cd. So remember, I2 is same as cd. Okay, so finally I can say that I2, we got I2 equal to cd. And let's find what is I3 also. What will be I3? To find I3, I will put a1 b1, yes or no? So if I put a1 b1, then you can see these will become 0, a1 b1. If I put a1 b1, then what I will get? These will be remaining. Okay, so let's put a1 b1, then I will get c bar d bar or c bar d or cd bar or cd. If you see, if you do, that will be basically 1. Okay, that will be same as 1, because remember, I3 will be equal to c bar d bar or c bar d or cd bar or cd. Okay, now you can easily notice here you can take c bar out. If I take c bar out, inside I will get d or d bar, that will be 1. So here I will get c bar. Okay, this will become c bar. And here you can see I can take c out. If I take c out, inside I will get d bar or d, that will be 1. Here I will get c. What will be c or c bar? That will be 1. Okay, so that's it. So finally I3 equal to 1. Okay, so that's it. Remember, this function I can realize with help of 4 by 1 multiplexer like this. We are connecting S1, S0 select lines. We are connecting to variable a comma b. A is MSB, B is LSB. And you can see 0, 1, 2, 3. These input lines, you can see this I0 equal to D. We have already seen I0 equal to D. I1 equal to C bar D bar. Okay, to get C bar D bar, I need NOR gate. Yes or no? NOR gate I need. So let's put a NOR gate here. C comma D. Okay, very simple. And you can see I2 equal to CD. This I2, this is equal to CD. So I need AND gate. Okay, that will be CD. And you can see this I3 is equal to 1. Okay, I can write 1 here. That's it. So this is your F1. This is the answer for this question. I hope you understood. So we have done the first part. Let's solve the second part. The second part also you can easily solve using the same way that we have done. So let me do it quickly. The second part, let me do quickly. So first what you do, this minterm list is given to you. This function f2 is given to you as sum of minterms. So first you write the SOP expression for f2. Okay, so for f2 you can see these are the minterms 1, 2, 5 and so on. So what is 1? 1 means 0, 0, 0, 1. That means a bar, b bar, c bar, d. 2 means 1, 2 means 0, 0, 1, 0. Means a bar, b bar, 0, 0, 1, 0, c d bar. 5 means 0, 1, 0, 1. Yes or no? 0, 1, 0, 1. What is 7? That is 0, 1, 1, 1. What is 8? That is 0. Sorry. What is 8? That is 1, 0, 0, 0. What is 10? That is 1, 0, 1, 0. 1, 0, 1, 0. What is 11? That is 1, 0, 1, 1. 1, 0, 1, 1. What is 13? That is 1101. 1101. And what is 15? That is 1111. Okay, yes or no? So this is the SOP expression that we will get for this function f2. Now we can implement this function with help of multiplexer, 4 by 1 multiplexer. In the 4 by 1 multiplexer, the select lines S1, S0, we will connect with variables a comma b. Okay, we need to find what will be these input lines 0, 1, 2, 3. These input lines we need to find, and this is your f2. Okay, so here we need to find what will be the input line I0, I1, I2, I3. This is what we need to find. To find what will be I0, what I can do, I can put A0, B0 because the select lines are AB. So if I put A0, B0, then this function f2 will be equal to I0. So to find I0, I can put A0, B0. So tell me, what will be I0 from here? To find I0, let's put A0, B0. Okay, just put A0, B0 means in this function, you put A0, B0, CD. Okay, so now you tell me what will be I0. Let me put A0, B0, this will be 0. If I put A0, then this also will become 0. If I put B0, this will become 0. So finally, what I will get, if I put A0, B0, I will get C bar D or CD bar. Yes or no? I will get C bar D or CD bar. That is same as your exclusive or C, X or D. So this is I0. Let's find I1. To find I1, what I can do? I can put A0, B1 in this function F2. Okay, so let's put A0, B1. If I put A0, then this will become 0. Okay, and if I put B1, then this will become 0. So what I will get? Only this is remaining. So that is C bar D or CD. What is C bar D or CD? I can take D out. If I take D out, inside I will get C or C bar, that will be 1. So remember, that will be same as D. So I1 will be same as D. Now let's find what will be I2. What will be I2? To find I2, what I can do in this function, I can put A1, B0. Okay, so let's put A1, B0. If I put B0, then this will be 0. If I put B0, this will be 0. Okay, so you can see this will be remaining. This will be remaining. And you can see this also will be remaining. If I put A equal to 1, then all these will become 0. Okay, so remember, if I put A1, B0, then basically what I will get? I will get C bar, D bar, or C D bar, or CD. Yes or no? This is what we are going to get. Okay, so here you can see that here I can take D bar out. If I take D bar out, then inside I will get C or C bar, that will be 1. So basically, this becomes D bar. And what is D bar or CD? D bar or CD, D bar or CD. Here I can take here I can remove this D. So here I will get C or D bar. Yes or no? So I2 is equal to C or D bar. Let's find I3. To find I3, what I can do in this function F2, I can put A equal to 1, B equal to 1. Okay, so just put A1, B1. If I put A1, B1, this will be 0. This will be 0. Okay, so if I put A1, B1, I will get C bar D or CD. C bar D or CD. And that will be same as D. So I3 is equal to D. So finally the answer, remember, this I3 equal to D, I2 equal to C or D bar, C or D bar, I1 equal to D, and I0 is XOR. Okay, so this is D, and here you got XOR, C or C XOR D. So this is your final answer. I hope you understood this question. Okay, so remember, for this F2, what circuit I will get? This is the multiplexer S1, S0. We are connecting AB here. This is the output, that is F2. These are the input lines 0, 1, 2, 3. So here you can see when A0, B0, then this input I0 is basically equal to XOR. Okay, so we need to put a XOR gate here. Correct? XOR here. C XOR D. Very simple. Okay, next you can see that this I1 is equal to D. What about I2? That is C or D bar. Okay, so I need a OR gate. We need a OR gate. C or D bar. C or D bar. So I can put an inverter here. D bar. And you can see I3 equal to D. Okay, so that's it. So this is the multiplexer. This is the implementation. I hope you understood. Very simple. Let's study the next topic, that is multiplexer with enable input. In the multiplexer, we can put additional input, that is enable input. So let me explain. Another type of multiplexer has an additional input, that is called enable input. Means in the multiplexer, if you want, you can put additional input. There is one additional input that you can put in the multiplexer. This is called enable input. Now what is the behavior of this enable input? Let me explain. This enable input is basically like a on off button. So let me tell you that this enable input, let's understand this enable input. This is very important because this will be used in multiplexer, in the decoder, in many different digital circuits. You will see this enable input concept. Okay, and the concept is same everywhere. Whatever circuit, whatever digital circuit you study, the same concept we will use everywhere. What is the definition, what is the idea of enable input? This enable input is basically like a on off button. Okay, so please understand that this is like a on off button, on off switch, or I can say on off button. So when this enable input is on, Okay, when this enable input is on, then in that case your circuit, your digital circuit will behave normally. Okay, so in this case, our circuit, whatever circuit we have, here we are discussing multiplexer, so let me write multiplexer. Basically our multiplexer will behave normally. Okay, will behave normally. The normal behavior will behave normally. The normal behavior will happen when this enable input is on, and when this enable input is off, then the circuit will be idle. Okay, then in this situation circuit, we are discussing multiplexer here, that will be idle. What idle means? Idle simply means that output will be zero. Okay, so remember this enable input, this is basically like a on off button. When this is on, then the circuit will behave normally, and when this is off, then circuit will be idle, means the output will be always zero. Whatever you do, the output will be zero. So this is the idea of enable input. So you can see here that enable input is like a on off switch, on off button. When this enable input is on, the circuit will work normally. When this enable input is off, the circuit will be idle, means the output will be zero. Let me tell you, there are two type of enable inputs. You can see there are two type of enable inputs. One is active high enable, another is active low enable. What is active high enable? The name itself is telling you active high enable means the circuit will be active, the circuit will behave normally if your enable is high. So let me explain what is the definition of active high enable. This simply means that circuit will be active. Circuit will be active. Circuit, here we are discussing multiplexer. So multiplexer will be active when enable is high, when enable is 1. And what is active low enable? Active low enable means the circuit will be active when the enable is low. Okay, so please understand here, the circuit will be active when enable is low, enable is 0. Okay, so you can see that when you have active high enable, then what will happen? In the case of active high enable, if the enable is 1, then your circuit will behave normally. Circuit behaves normally. Circuit activated, I can say. Circuit will behave normally. And remember, when this enable equal to 0, when this active high enable is 0, then the circuit will be idle. Okay, then in this situation, circuit will be idle. Idle means the output will be basically equal to 0. What about this active low enable? Active low enable simply means that when the enable is 0, when the enable is low, then the circuit will be activated. In this case, the circuit will be activated. Circuit will behave normally. And when this enable, when this active low enable is 1, then circuit will be idle. Idle means the output will be 0. So there are two type of enables. One is active high enable, another is active low enable. Active high enable means circuit will be active if the enable is high. Active low enable means the circuit will be active when the enable is low, when the enable is 0. Very simple. Now let me explain that when you have a multiplexer with active high enable, you can have a multiplexer with active high enable, or you can have a multiplexer with active low enable. Now let me tell you, if you want to denote, if you want to indicate that your enable is active high, you can directly make this connection. So this connection, this direct connection means that our enable is active high. And if you want to indicate that my enable is active low, then you can put this bubble. Please understand that this bubble indicates active low enable. Okay, so remember this bubble here, E, and there is a bubble here basically, or I can say there is an inverter basically here, and this indicates that this enable, this is an active low enable. So please understand this means active low enable. Okay, is this clear? So when you have this bubble, it means it is an active low enable, means the circuit will be activated when this E equal to 0. And here you can see the direct connection means this is an active high enable, means the circuit will be activated when this enable E equal to 1. Very simple. One by one, let me explain what is multiplexer with active high enable. Active high enable means the multiplexer will be activated. The multiplexer will behave normally if the enable is high, enable is 1. Okay, so this you can easily indicate. So let's see the block diagram. The block diagram will be like this. Let's consider 2 by 1 mux. In the 2 by 1 mux, there are two data inputs, two input lines are there, one select line is there. Okay, and let me connect enable, active high enable. So I will make the direct connection like this. Okay, so you can see this is active high enable, and there is output, the output is y. Very simple. And the inputs, you can see the inputs are I0, I1, these are the inputs. So now let's write the truth table. Very easily we can write the truth table now. Now let's find the truth table for this multiplexer with active high enable. Please understand that this enable is like a on off button. So if this E is equal to 0, because remember this is active high enable, means the circuit will be activated if enable equal to 1. If enable equal to 1, remember, if enable equal to 1, then circuit will be activated. If enable equal to 0, if enable equal to 0, then circuit will be idle, means output will be 0. Okay, yes or no? So if enable equal to 0, then this y will be equal to 0. This y will be equal to 0. It does not matter what is s can be anything, the select line can be anything. Please understand that when e equal to 0, then our circuit is not activated, or I can say our circuit is idle. Whatever select line you put, that does not matter, the output will always be 0. And you can see this is the active high enable, means when this enable is high, when this enable is 1, now the circuit will behave normally. Okay, if s is 0, then the output will be I0. If s is 1, then the output will be I1. So very simple point. This is the idea of active high enable. When the enable is 1, then the circuit, the multiplexer is behaving normally. This is the mux behaving normally. Okay, and here you can see that here mux is idle. Okay, so that's it. Very simple. Now, can we write the equation for this y? Can we write the expression? Expression is very simple, remember. If e equal to 0, then the output will be 0. Okay, so you can see the behavior, the normal behavior will happen if e equal to 1. So e must be 1 first of all. Yes or no? E must be 1. For a normal behavior, e must be 1. Because when e is 0, then the output is anyway 0. Okay, so I can say e must be 1. E must be 1, and you can see if s is 0, output will be I0. If s is 1, output will be I1. So this will be the expression for output. Very simple. Now let's see implementation using basic logic gates. Already we got the equation right. The equation, output equation, what is that? That is E must be 1. Enable must be 1, because we are discussing active high enable. Means for normal behavior of the circuit, for circuit to be activated, the enable must be equal to 1. Enable must be high. So E must be 1 for normal behavior of the circuit. And here you can see when S is 0, then output will be I0. When S is 1, output will be I1. Very simple. Now we can easily implement this using basic logic gates. So you can notice what we need. So we need two AND gates we need. Okay, two AND gates we need, and one OR gate we need. Yes or no? Here OR gate we need. Now you can see we have S. So inverter, if I put S0 here, S bar, and S here. Here we have I0, and here we have I1. Okay, so far it is clear. Now you can notice, because of enable, what we will do, this enable line I will connect like this. This E I will connect here also. This E will be input here also, and this E will be input here also. Okay, because you can see that E S bar I0, E S I1. Okay, yes or no? So that's it. So basically this enable, this is active high enable. So directly I will connect it with both the AND gates. Okay, in both the AND gates, this enable will be one of the input. Okay, that's it. This is the implementation using basic logic gates. Very simple. Let's consider 4 by 1 mux. We have a multiplexer with active high enable. So there is an additional input in this multiplexer. This is our 4 by 1 multiplexer. There are 4 input lines. There is one output line, and there are 2 select lines, S1, S0. And you can see there is additional input, that is enable input. And this enable input, this is like a on off button. When, and this is the active high enable, means when this will be high, then the circuit will be activated. And when this is 0, then circuit will be idle, means output will be 0. So here you can easily see this E, this is active high enable, means circuit will be activated when this E is equal to 1. And remember, when E is equal to 0, now it does not matter what is S1, what is S0. They do not matter. In this situation, when E is 0, in this situation the output will be 0, means circuit is idle. Okay, and you can see circuit will be activated if E is equal to 1. When E is equal to 1, then circuit will be behaving in a normal manner. So you can see S1 S0 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. What will be the output? The output will be when S1 S0 are 0 0, output will be I0, then I1, I2, I3. Okay, that's it. So you can easily see that here normal behavior is happening. Yes or no? Mux normal behavior. And here you can notice here we have mux idle. Okay, so that's it. And if you want to write the equation, that also you can write. What will be the equation for the output? You can see that this is active high enable, means for normal behavior of the circuit, this enable must be 1, E must be 1. Okay, so you can see E must be 1, means E. Next, you can easily see the remaining you already know. When S1 0, S0 0, then output will be I0. When S1 0, S0 1, output will be I1. S1 S0 bar, output will be I2. And when both are 1 1, S1 S0, then output will be I3. This is the equation for output. Very simple. Now let's see multiplexer with active low enable. Active low enable means circuit will be activated when the enable is low, when the enable is 0. Let me explain that. In any block diagram of the multiplexer, if you want to indicate that enable is active low, what you can do? This enable, to indicate that this is active low, you can put a bubble here. That's it, very simple. So this bubble indicates that we have active low enable. Okay, very simple. So let's consider 2 by 1 mux. In this 2 by 1 mux, there is one select line, there is one output line, and there are two input lines, I0, I1. Here you can see this is a multiplexer with active low enable. So this multiplexer will be activated when E equal to 0. Multiplexer will be activated when enable equal to low. Means when enable is 0, then multiplexer will be activated. But remember, when enable is high, then multiplexer will be idle. Yes or no? You can see when E equal to 1, then whatever this select line, whatever you take, it does not matter. The output will be 0. Means here our mux, that is basically idle. And you can see when the enable is 0, because this is active low enable, so the circuit will be activated when enable is low. When enable is 0, then circuit will be activated. Here now you can see if S is 0, then output will be I0. If S is 1, output will be I1. Okay, I can write the expression for Y. What that will be? You can see when E equal to 1, then output is 0. So you can see for normal behavior, this E must be equal to 0. E equal to 0 means E bar. Yes or no? E equal to 0 means E bar. So E bar. The remaining is normal behavior. You can see when S is 0, output will be I0. When S is 1, output will be I1. Okay, very simple. Can we do implementation using basic logic gates? The equation we already know. The output equation is, in the case of active low enable, the output expression is E bar, and inside we have when S is 0, then output is I0. When S is 1, output is I1. Very easily we can do the implementation using logic gates. We can put AND gate here, another AND gate. Okay, and there will be OR gate here. This is Y. Here what we can do? This S equal to 0 inverter I can put here. This is S bar, and here I can directly connect. This is S. Okay, you can see this is I1, this is I0. Now let's see what I will do with the enable. You can see this is active low enable, means when this E equal to 0, then the circuit will be activated. Okay, so what we will do here, we will basically put a inverter. Please understand, we are going to do something like this, that we will put an inverter. Okay, and then we will connect this with both the AND gates. Okay, then we will connect it in both the AND gates, we will connect it. That's it. I hope you understood. This is the implementation using basic logic gates. Okay, let's consider 4 by 1 multiplexer. In the 4 by 1 multiplexer, if you want to denote that our enable is active low enable, then we can put this bubble. So remember, this bubble indicates that our enable is active low enable. Means when the enable equal to 0, then the circuit will be activated. Okay, it simply means that when E equal to 1, then whatever select lines you take, it does not matter, because when E equal to 1, then the output will be basically 0. Our circuit is idle here. Here our mux is idle. And you can see when the enable is low, then there will be normal behavior. You already know the normal behavior, that is the select lines can be 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. When the select lines are 0 0, then the output will be I0, then I1, I2, I3. Okay, so that's it. This is your multiplexer with active low enable, active high enable. I hope you understood. So this is the multiplexer chapter. We have seen everything in the multiplexer, the definition of multiplexer, implementation of multiplexer using basic logic gates, implementation of any function using multiplexer. Also, we have seen multiplexer with enable input. So everything related to multiplexer we have seen in this lecture. I hope you understood. Also, let me tell you, if you want to solve all the gate computer science multiplexer questions, then you can search on the YouTube, you can search Go Classes Mux. This video will be there. In this video, let me tell you, there are all the gate CS multiplexer questions I have solved with complete analysis. Okay, so multiplexer, all gate CS PYQs, just search on the YouTube Go Classes Mux. Or you can find the link in the pinned comment also in the description, or you can search on the YouTube. Also, let me tell you, if you want to solve multiplexer gate electronics, gate electrical and instrumentation PYQs, all the gate previous year questions from gate electrical, electronics and instrumentation for multiplexer, if you want to solve, then you can search Go Classes Mux on the YouTube. This playlist will be there. This digital logic combinational circuit gate PYQs playlist will be there, and you can watch all the lectures where I am solving the gate electronics questions, electrical questions, instrumentation questions based on multiplexer. The link you can find in the pinned comment, also in the description, or you can search on YouTube. So this is all about multiplexer. Now we will study demultiplexer or demux. Demultiplexer, the name itself is telling you it is basically reverse of multiplexer. Let's see the comparison of multiplexer and demultiplexer. In the multiplexer, we have 2 power n input lines and there is one output line. In the demultiplexer, it is just opposite. Means there is one input line and there are 2 power n output line. And remember, in the multiplexer also there are n select lines, and in the demultiplexer also there are n select lines. But remember, in the multiplexer, we use these select lines to determine which input will appear in the output. Okay, basically these select lines we use to choose one of the inputs to transfer to the output. Yes or no? But remember, in the demultiplexer, we have 2 power n output line and there is only one input line. So in the demultiplexer, these select lines we use to determine this input line will appear in which output line. Means using these select lines, we select one of the output line, and on that output line our input will transfer. I hope you understood. So see the difference here, that in the multiplexer there are 2 power n input lines and one output line. In the demultiplexer there is one input line and 2 power n output line, and there are n select lines in the multiplexer. In the demultiplexer also n select lines. But remember, in the multiplexer, these n select lines we use to select one of the inputs to send to the output, and in the demultiplexer we use these n select lines to select one of the output line to transfer the input on that output line. Very simple. Let me explain. 1 by 4 demultiplexer. 1 by 4 demultiplexer means there is one input line and there are 4 output line. Remember, in every demultiplexer there will be one input line and there will be 2 power n output line and there will be n select lines. So here you can see in the 1 by 4 demultiplexer we have one input line. There is only one input line. Let me call it D, data. Okay, means this is the input data, or I can say data line, or I can say input line. And there are 4 output lines. There are 4 outputs, means y0, y1, y2, y3. These are the 4 outputs. And remember, this input will go on one of these output lines. Now this input will go on which output line? There are 4 output lines. To determine this input will go on which output line, we need 2 select lines. So here, because you have 4 output lines, so to determine which output line will carry this input, that will be decided by 2 select lines. So we need 2 select lines, S1, S0. Very simple. Okay, and you can see when S1, S0, when they are 0, when they are 1, when they are 2, when they are 3, then according to these select lines, one of the output line will be activated and this input will go on that output line. Very simple. Okay, so let me write the truth table here. You can see we have S1, we have S0. They will decide which output line will be activated to carry this input. Okay, so you can see we have y0, we have y2, y0, y1, y2, y3. Okay, very simple. Now remember, when s1 s0, when both are 0 0, then in this situation, when both the select lines are 0 0, then this output line y0 will be activated, means this data will appear on y0, means y0 will be equal to d. And what about remaining? The remaining will be 0 0 0. Very simple. And when the select lines are 0 1, when the select lines are 0 1, then this output line y1 will be activated, means this data will go on y1, means this y1 will be equal to d, and the remaining will be 0 0 0. Okay, next you can see when the select lines are 1 0, then this output line y2 will be activated, and this data will go on y2, so y2 will be equal to d, and the remaining will be 0 0 0. And when the select lines are 1 1, then this y3 output will be activated, and this input data d will go on this output y3. So here you can see y3 will be d, and the remaining will be 0 0 0. That's it. So this is the behavior of the demultiplexer. You can write the expression for every output line. What will be y0? So let's write the expression for y0. You can see y0 will be d. Y0 will be equal to d when s1 s0 are 0 0. Means when s1 is 0, s0 is 0, then y0 will be equal to d. Very simple. And let's write the expression for y1. You can see y1 will be equal to d when s1 0, s0 1. Otherwise you can see y1 is equal to 0. Okay, so let's write the expression for y1. You can see only here y1 is non-zero, otherwise y1 is equal to 0. So you can see y1 equal to s1 bar s0 d. What about y2? Y2 will be equal to s1 s0 bar d. And what about y3? That will be s1 s0 d. You can see y3 will be equal to, you can see y3 will be d when s1 s0 both are 1 1. So you can see here s1 s0 d. That's it. So this is how you can write the expression for all the output lines. Very simple. Let's consider what is 1 by 2 demultiplexer. In the demultiplexer, we always have one input line, and the number of output lines are 2 power n, and there are n select lines. So here you can see there is only one input line. So let's call it d, means data. There is one data line, and in the 1 by 2 demultiplexer, there are two output lines. So let me call them y0, y1. And there is one select line. Let me call it s. You can see when s is 0, then this output line y0 will be activated, and y0 will be equal to d. And when s is equal to 1, then this output line y1 will be activated, and this data will go on output y1. Very simple. So here I can make the truth table. You can see s, y0, y1. When s is equal to 0, then this data will go to y0, means y0 will be equal to d, and the remaining output will be 0. You can see when s is equal to 1, then this data will go on y1 output line. So here y1 will be equal to d, and the remaining output lines will be 0. That's it. This is the behavior of demultiplexer. You can write the equation for y0, you can write the equation for y1. What is y0? Remember, y0 is a function of two things: select line and data input. Yes or no? Because please understand, this is the data input, this is the data input, and understand that this is the select input. Okay, so this is the data input, this is the select input, and remember the output is function of all the inputs. So this is also input, this is also input. So remember the output y0, that is a function of s comma d. Okay, so here you can see the y0 will be equal to what? You can see in this column, in the column of y0, y0 is d when s is 0, means I can say s bar d. And what about y1? This is also function of s comma d. You can see y1 is d when s is equal to 1. When s is equal to 1, then y1 equal to d. Okay, so this is the expression for y0, y1. I hope you understood. So we have seen what is 1 by 2 power n demultiplexer. In any demultiplexer, there is one input line, or I can say one data input is there, and there are 2 power n output lines. And this input will appear on one of the output lines. Which output line will be activated, that will be decided by the select lines. So remember, in the 1 by 2 power n demultiplexer, remember we have 2 power n output lines. These are the output lines like y0, y1, y2 and so on. 2 power n output lines means y 2 power n minus 1. Okay, so these many output lines are there. There is one data input or data input line, and you can see there are total n select lines. Okay, we have total n select lines like s0, s1 and so on as n minus 1. Okay, so this is your demultiplexer, and you can see depending on these select lines, one of the output line will be activated and this data will appear on that output line. Very simple. If all the select lines are 0 0 0, then you can see that y0 will be equal to d. Okay, if all of them are 1 1 1, then this output line will be activated and this input will go on this output line. Okay, very simple. So this is the demultiplexer topic. So in this chapter, we have seen what is multiplexer, what is demultiplexer. This is the complete coverage of multiplexer and demultiplexer. Okay. I hope you understood everything. Thank you, everyone. Please share your feedback in the comments. Okay. Please like this session and please put a comment. Thank you.